Hey, you.
Hey,
You seem kind of frazzled. What's up?
well, I got some post or mail, as you'd call it, this
Mhm.
morning, and it kind of rattled me because it was something that I thought I was taking care of, but yet it wasn't a very nice letter. So we've got a new car, well, probably back in March, and we've been waiting so long for the title documents to arrive.
Mhm.
And Josh had to go to the garage and get him to extend the date on the paper plate that goes on the back of the car. So I thought I had it all under control.
Mhm.
And then now today, we picked up the title 2 days ago, but now today I get a letter from the DMV saying that we're fined 10% of the total tax on the car plus more each day that we don't pay it
Each
because it went
day?
past the date, like because it went past the deadline of 30 days, but we didn't have the title. And like literally, as soon as I read that letter, my heart just goes boom, 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 like this. And I just have to get on with it and deal with it then and there because
Mhm.
like I know that it's just weighing on the back of my mind. And when I read the threat of like more money and more fines and all the other terrible stuff that can happen to you,
Mhm.
I just lose all perspective of what's going on, and that it's just something that I need to sort out now. So I've just been literally trying to get all of this sorted, and inevitably it takes a huge time.
Mhm. Mhm. And describe to me exactly, like you said, your heart is pounding, but what other physical symptoms happen when you open that letter?
I think the first thing is I am very aware of my heartbeat.
Mm.
Like I almost hear it in my head.
Mhm.
And then I think my breathing becomes like shallow. Like I'm
Mhm.
not fully taking all my lung capacity up with what I'm breathing.
Mhm.
And I just feel tense. Like, look, this is what my hands are doing right now.
Wow.
They're like, like I kind of need to just let go and just go, whew. But it's really hard. And
Mhm.
I've sorted this task now, but yet I still feel all wound up from having to try and sort that.
Mhm. If you can think back in the past,
Mhm.
other times when you feel this way and you feel tense and stressed, what is your favorite way that someone can show you support that has happened in the past that you said, "Oh, that feels good."
Um, if I'm being flippant, I want someone to just come and take that letter away from me and say, don't worry, Karen, I'll deal with it.
Mhm.
On this occasion, that's not possible.
Mhm.
So I think probably the best thing would be somebody to almost get me to appreciate what number one, what has actually happened, and
Mhm.
number two, are you actually worrying about something genuine,
Mhm.
or are you just worrying because of the immediate visceral reaction that you have to reading the letter?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think like I'm speaking to you now, like I've just finished doing that,
Mhm.
but I've looked after it. I managed to work out that there wasn't a fine. Like that letter must have been computer generated, not realizing other things that had gone on in the system. So actually, it was a big stress over nothing.
Mhm.
Still took me a lot of time, but in reality, it there was just an administrative thing where the computer just took over,
Mhm.
and then I just react in that way.
Mhm. And so is when you talk that through and you realize that it really wasn't as urgent
Mm-hmm.
as it felt when you opened
Yeah.
that letter, that you just needed to do a few things and take care of a few things. If that happens in the future and you have that feeling, what what can you do to remember right now? What can you, is there something you can say or do to help you remember that? Let's take a step back.
Yeah. I think maybe my gut reaction in that moment, this time it wasn't necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and almost say, what do you, like, almost part of my brain went to that place of saying, maybe they just sent this out and that was just in the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got so distracted by the fact fines like written on at the bottom of it. And if you're caught driving, you might be arrested. Like, those things make me scared.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost like control over my thought process in that moment. But I think if I get another letter like that, I'm going to say, okay, for one moment, slow down and just think this through in stages. And I think this is what I love about coaching, because your own brain starts to come up with the answers, but it's almost saying to me, like, what you are going to do now that you are panicking about that needs to be done in this very second, like, because that's all I wanted to do was just get this done.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make a difference if you do it right now or you do it this evening?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, not really. Would you prefer to get it done sooner? Yes, but actually, is something actually going to hurt you right now? And no, nothing is. Just, I keep looking over at the paperwork. That's what I'm about to. It's just sat on the side of my desk.
That visceral feeling again.
I need to get rid of it. So yeah, I think just slow down. Almost at that point in time, I needed, if to your earlier question, I needed somebody there with me saying, just take a deep breath. Like, just take a deep breath and then think about how you're going to react to that, rather than panic. Because as soon as I received that, like, literally, I've screenshot it and I've sent it to Josh, who's in a meeting, who probably can't really deal with what I'm sending him. And his phone is pinging away, probably with his paranoid wife, who thinks she's going to get arrested. That isn't helpful to him. And it's not helpful to me, because I haven't even thought through the process. Yet when I'm already texting him about what do I do? Right. In the next 5 minutes, I've realized that I can go online. My first gut reaction was ring the woman at the DMV. He was incredibly unhelpful. She wound me up probably more. But actually, what I should have just done is just followed my, like, it says slow down. What is your next step? Okay, go on the website. And I would have seen that it said you can do this online.
So let's back up a little bit. What do you know about your thought process when you are in high anxiety, fight or flight mode?
It just jumps to the worst case scenario straight away. Like, I paint that picture. And
so you said what would have been most helpful is for someone to tell you to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
So what is one way that you can assure that you're taking a deep breath?
Maybe put the letter down, walk away from it, go outside, and then take that deep breath.
Okay.
Like, remove myself from that just for a minute, just to let the thoughts calmly settle rather than jump around in my head. You know, the crazy thing is like when you say, and you need that somebody to say, just take a deep breath. Now, probably like at that moment in time, and this is where it's silly, isn't it? But I'm like, oh, I could ring Laura and tell her that I've got this like crazy situation. But then like the thought will go through my mind, oh my gosh, I don't want people to think that I'm like this stressy over something so silly. Which I know is untrue. I know that is not true, but that goes through my mind. Like, part of like being vulnerable, like, you do worry that what are people going to think of me, that this is something that completely stressed me out.
So that's a big piece of self-compassion. One of the big pieces of self-compassion is realizing common humanity, that we've all gotten those letters. We've all had your exact reaction. So knowing in that moment that to be compassionate to yourself. And if you need to ring a friend, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because probably more than likely your friend, whether that be me or somebody else, would say, I've had that exact same thing happen.
Yeah.
Maybe not with DMV, but some other,
Yeah.
you know. And once I just calmed down and took care of it, I felt better.
Yeah. You're very true.
Mhm. So is there anything physically that you can do to assure when you step away from the letter, go outside? Is there anything physically you can do to make sure that you know that you're taking deep breaths?
I don't know. What ideas have you got? Share.
So I was just thinking of just putting your hands
Mm-hmm.
and actually feeling your breath reaching all the way up
Yeah.
to your collarbone and knowing that you're taking that deep breath.
Yeah. And it feels like you're giving yourself a hug.
It does, doesn't it?
Bonus.
Bonus.
Yeah. That's a really nice.
I know. I just want to stay here. Just walk around like this all day.
Yeah. That is lovely though.
Yeah.
And maybe some of this,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
just it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Mhm.
Calm down.
Mhm. And you could even, if you think about it, maybe you can't get to that letter right away.
Mm-hmm.
You could still take a moment and do this and say, I'll
Yeah.
get to it later.
Yeah, because there will be times like in the future and like where you can't just jump on something and respond.
Right.
Like if I was actually with a client at that time, or if I was whatever, and I just opened it because I ran out to get the mail before that appointment, I couldn't have done it.
Mhm.
So there needed to be a way for me to put it to one side that it doesn't distract me from what I'm doing. So that would be a very useful technique. So
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
We talked it out.
We talked it out. So yay. So the DMV can now take their letter and
Yeah.
know that you have taken care of it in a calm, collected fashion.
Yeah. They didn't rattle me for too long.
That's right. Awesome. All right. Well, I hope the rest of the day goes better.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm smiling.
Talk to you later.
Soon.